All right, everyone. The other day there was an interesting clip, Tucker Carlson alluding to a time when he felt that he was mauled by a demon in his sleep. So I figured I would make a video on the subject of demonology. There will be a link in the description. I'll also pin it at the top on YouTube. I made a compilation of demonological work back in 2020. It got pretty rave reviews, actually. And so it's more from the academic side. It's a compilation of primary source material with some of my own opinions sprinkled in, full appendix, full bibliography, forward, etc. So this is meant to be more of an educational work than anything else. So if you're looking for, how do I raise Satan from a crater, you're not going to find that in this particular demonological work. It's more historical than anything, but I think it'd be of interest. First and foremost, though, let me say this. I have no grudge against Tucker Carlson. As a frequent critic of him when he was on Fox News, because clearly he was being muzzled by the network, once he broke free of that, I've liked the material that he's been making. Of course, he broadcasts on Twitter, etc., and does actual journalism. It's not common for somebody once let go of by a mainline network not to simply go to another mainline network and exchange one muzzle for the other. He decided to say screw it, so I actually respect him for that. That being said, the concept of being mauled in your sleep by a demon is not particularly based in reality. What is normally happening is that somebody is having a waking dream, a nightmare that sort of puts them in a state between sleep and awake. When people say, well, I've got scratch marks on me, it must have been the devil. No, you probably scratched yourself. I'm just saying that can happen during one of those breaking dreams that people have. I'm not discounting every aspect of the paranormal. I've made it clear I believe in spiritual things. I have literally seen a demon. That being said, the idea that demons in semi-corporeal form attack people in their sleep is not really one that's particularly evinced throughout time when you look at the human experience. When we look at the term demon, for example, it's nothing more than a modernized version of the original Greek term daimon. It comes from the same origin. Now, there's no direct translation that we can singularly use for the term daimon as it was originally connotated in Greek, because it's an overarching term that describes different things that we would parse apart from one another. So it could be an evil spirit, or something from Hades in that sense. It could be a ghost or a spirit, a disembodied spirit of some sort. Or it could be an inspiration. To be possessed by the daimon would literally have also applied to a poet who's got writer's block who suddenly says, Eureka, I thought of the next line. That would be to be possessed in that sense. The concept of possession has been changed over time, especially by the Catholic Church, to connote that the person is being literally like they're inhabited by a demon or something from hell, which of course does not actually happen. I know that there are people that have strong beliefs in such things. You got to understand the meanderings of Christianity throughout time, and you're really doing a throwback sort of thing to antiquity when you're actually taking that seriously out of the context of some of the things that happened in the Christian Bible. The concept that in modernity that sort of thing would be happening is not even more than loosely canonical, actually, under a properly understood Christian system. I would point out the high and low church struggle. You can look that up. I've already spoken of it before. So demonology is a complex subject. In my own compilation, I tried to cast the net as widely as possible. So you have works that are from a Catholic background, including Sinistrari's work, which is very, very strange, from the early 1800s, and claims that evil spirits can literally possess a corpse, and that when you have nocturnal, ejaculations and stuff like that, literally the nightmare riding you, you literally fucked a corpse. And that women would give birth to deformed babies. This is only a 200-year-old work. Women would give birth to deformed babies because the male corpse was inhabited by a demon or an evil spirit and went and fornicated with them in their sleep. And so that's basically Sinistrari's idea of where deformity comes from. Also Protestant works, reformist works / secular works, pagan works. There's some paganism in there. In the appendix, there are snippets from other works that I didn't involve with it verbatim for length constraints mostly, but still allusions to demonology in general. And you have the Piazza. That work is mainly historical. It's from an academic backdrop, but the author claims that the best way to explain like images of the Manitou, which is sort of the native devil, so to speak, or an evil spirit, like a lake spirit, so to speak. The best way to describe that in his rigorous academic way was to say, well, clearly when they first came to the North American continent, dinosaurs still existed. That was maybe a misunderstanding of evolution, but it's still interesting when you think about it. I assure you, you're not being attacked in your sleep by demons. You're probably scratching yourself. I had a waking dream actually only a few nights ago. In this dream, I was in this room. For some reason, this was my bedroom again. Used to be when I was younger. I sleep in a different bedroom now. This used to be not an office. And I was just there. And it was like I was in my own bed, but I was also in this dream bed at the same time. And I looked out the window, and the window was open, and there was a big dog actually out there on top of like a rock that was for some reason in the front yard, and jumped through the window and attacked me. And it woke me up. And I was like moaning in my sleep, and I was gripping myself and the pillow and so forth, and then I snapped out of it, and I'm like, oh shit, that dream sucked, and drank some water and went back to bed. But some people would interpret that as a demonic attack. But it's not. It was a bad dream, a waking dream. This happens to people on a fairly frequent basis. Some people have it happen quite regularly. That doesn't mean that you're plagued by demons. It means that you have a psychosomatic disorder. Either temporary, or in the acute sense, the stress of the day or whatever, or maybe you have, it's more chronic. It happens over time. Insomnia can lead to it. I'm an insomniac. I've had all sorts of weird experiences with dreams. One time, I felt like I was lifted out of my body. I could literally see myself on the blanket below, and the bed below. I could look around the room, and it was literally there. I was asleep at the time, but I was also aware of myself being asleep. And then I felt a weird tingling energy all over my body. I thought it was blissful. It felt like a massage. I wish that I could cause that to happen every night, actually. Then I found that I could cause my surroundings to change. Like I could literally will them to change form and stuff like that. There were all sorts of weird little creatures that were dancing around, and I could change their form. The second they go out of your visual range, they tend to morph on their own or disappear randomly. So it's hard to control. But that's not demonic. This is mental. When you're in that state where you're accessing the subconscious mind, overlapped partially with the conscious mind, and see all sorts of strange things. That doesn't mean that the devil is causing it to happen. So what I would say to Tucker is, in all likelihood, you had a waking dream. And sometimes they're more long or more powerful than others, more immersive. You can usually snap yourself out of it. Sometimes it takes no effort. Sometimes it takes quite a bit. But it doesn't have to do with a demon actually attempting to maul you in your sleep, because demons don't do that. They're not particularly interested in that. I've told people my own experience when I was younger, and I was awake at the time. This was not a waking dream. I'm aware of this fact. I can tell the difference. I saw the demon Stolas. I've told people this. Some people believe me. Some people don't. Some people say, oh, my owl cartoon and stuff like that. I'm aware of what I saw. And what I communicated with, and there are a number of mimetic things that have happened throughout my life as the result of this. That being said, I was not attacked by a demon, because the demon is not fully corporeal. It's not interested. Why the hell would the demon randomly show up in the night and cause you to scratch yourself? Can I please ask the question what particular purpose that would serve, assuming that you believe in like the canonical definition of what demons and hell and all of these things are? Noting, of course, that the average person, even if they understand their religion, holds non-canonical views, according to different schools of thought within that religion. Of course, the way that Catholics perceive of demonology is not the same as the way Protestants do. I examined that, by the way, in that work, link in the description. It's an interesting topic, and I'm sure that Tucker Carlson had a weird experience. I've had them too. But I doubt that a demon came out of hell with the express purpose of mauling you in your sleep. I don't understand. By the way, why do demons never do this during the day? They only seem to do it when people are in a nocturnal state. Without dragging in New Age or rationalistic explanations related to dreams and psychology, from a strictly canonical spiritual perspective grounded in Judeo-Christianity, Islam, something like that, can you please explain to me why demons are incapable fundamentally of attacking a person unless they're asleep? I'll wait for the psychological answers to come in and be rudimentarily overlapped with Christendom as the result of this. And I'm sure there will be people that'll say I'm trying to, I'm a devil worshiper, I'm trying to take people to hell, I'm trying to get them to deny God and stuff like that. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is explain from a canonical perspective. In my work, I literally examine it mostly from Christian works. Trial of Witches, it's from Salem and things like that. It's literally from the Assizes and so forth. I'm trying to investigate it from a more broad perspective, because that perspective, that human perspective, it doesn't make sense, for example, that people who believe in like the Christianized demonology of what is effectively fairly modern thinking are so prone to demonic attack, and people who don't have that conception, they're like, oh, I had a weird dream last night. Yeah, I had these scratch marks on me. I must have been really fucked up. It's the same basic premise. It's the same basic phenomenon. It's just being explained differently. That's basically how we can put it. So yeah, I'll put that link also at the top on YouTube and take a look at it. It's one of the finest works that I've created. I'm going to toot my own horn here. There's a reason why people seemed to like it when they bought it. That's about all. Peace out.